One Piece
That
is
works.
real.
Honestly, the One Piece.
Uh,
One Piece is real. I don't know what videos we have to watch today because I haven't seen.
it's like halfway to alt. Like the entire Broke Till Friday channel is like halfway to alt right. Shit, just because my dad watches
Honestly,
all the shit on our stuff.
let's see. What movies?
To be clear, it's not all right. It's just halfway there.
Halfway there.
We're halfway there. No.
Ah, yes. How do Filipinos rate themselves? Land in the Philippines, The Curse of the Hot Filipina. Okay. We gotta find something else for your dad to do.
Yeah.
Let's see. I bought the world's largest firework. Hope you're to get mad. YouTuber apology. Train versus Giant Pit. The worst YouTube apology.
YouTube apology. Yeah.
Man, their families this target. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of.
I don't know. Our YouTube algorithm is fucked.
It's fucked.
It's fucked to all hell.
Destroyed, honestly.
I like for how much time I spend on YouTube, TBH, my algorithm doesn't really give me a lot, TBH. Like on the homepage.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally just videos I've already watched or like it doesn't really recommend me anything.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just either videos I've already watched or a video I missed from that, like, you know, from before I followed the channel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. I don't really get new recommendations for new content creators or that. So I don't really discover a lot of them. I have to like find them on Twitter or something.
Did we talk about the Craven trailer? I think we did, right?
Yes. I don't
really
know.
bad.
I don't remember because I talked about that a lot, like interpersonally. So I don't know, like off the channel. So I don't know if we covered it on the channel, TBH. I basically just said that I'm kind of disappointed in it. I have the same opinion as this one guy I follow on TikTok, where it's like, it feels like John Wick or like generic action film number 7 with like the Craven filter over it.
Pretty much.
It doesn't really feel like, and we were both kind of disappointed because we thought, like, independently held the same opinion that like Craven out of all the Spider-Man villains, you know, because you know how Sony's doing their whole like Spider-Man villain Morbius
Sinister Six
yeah
verse or whatever.
Morbin time.
Yeah, it's Craven time.
It's Craven.
That's the next one's gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly. That like out of all of them, Craven has like the most appealing standalone-ish. Like none of them really work without Spider-Man. They're all Spider-Man villains, but like especially compared to Morbius, Craven is the one that has like a lot of like depth to him and can like we feel he could, like, if written well, can support his own standalone film or like medium. Especially like when you consider big hitters in the comics like Kraven's Last Hunt, where he like kills Spider-Man and he has to like take over his place, you know, protect New York, and like because of the regret he feels in actually killing him. Like he's a complex character through and through, like, and he has a lot to work with. So it's kind of disappointing that it's, you know,
generic action thriller.
Yeah,
number 5 or number 30 billion.
Yeah, like he's actually like a really good character with a lot of depth to him, but like it doesn't seem like they're appealing to any of his more complex sides in the film. It just seems like, yes, evil org number 7 is, you know, needs to be taken down by powerful man number 8, and you know, follow this generic action flick, you know, whatever, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing, but you know, it is what it is. Sony's not exactly good in the live action department, you know. It's not a new thing that we have to reckon with.
The fucking Spider-Man stuff was basically Marvel Studios doing all the heavy work. So.
Yeah. Until we got the animated films, with Miles, but
that's why you also distinguished live action.
Yes,
They've been bad at the live action, pretty good at the non-live action.
Yes.
You just said it. Animated,
yeah. Non-live action, you know?
Non-live action, the fictional non-live action movies that they make.
Yeah.
Also, I saw another detail for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse where the Prowler version of Spider-Man, he says, I'm Miles Morales, and he says in like a Spanish accent. They're like, oh, because his dad died, so he's spending all his time with his mom.
Yes.
So he has more of a Spanish accent, so it's like, ooh.
Like,
but also,
there's so much detail that goes into that film, TVH.
Of course. But
like, I feel like, okay, like one of the things that I was thinking about is like, I feel like Miguel would not hate the Prowler version of Miles, like the way he hates like the Spider-Man version, or I guess he doesn't hate him. He just like he views him as a source of all the problems in his life, basically.
Well, he's not the source of all the problems. He's just upset that he's trying to like destroy the universe by getting rid of the canon events. When Miguel already tried that, and he knows, what he went through. But that's why he was telling me you're an abomination, because the spider wasn't even supposed to be in his universe. He wasn't supposed to get bitten by it. It was a different one, and so technically he caused the downfall of like a whole nother universe because they don't have a Spider-Man.
Oh well, also doesn't Miguel in that same monologue say that like, oh yeah, all the canon disruption events started with you,
Yeah.
and the spider bit you. So doesn't he actually see him as like the source? Like Miguel wouldn't have had the chance to like fuck up and destroy another reality if Miles hadn't been bit by that spider.
No, because he fucked up and destroyed the reality first.
No, it was Miles first. Miles was the first non-canon event.
What? No, because I don't remember how they pulled in the other spider into his universe. Or
Kingpin,
whatever, right?
It was Kingpin's collider that pulled him in.
So it's Kingpin's fault. It's not
Yes,
Miles' fault.
it's Kingpin's fault. But Miles becoming Spider-Man was the first.
I don't know if that was the first non-canon. Because I don't think Miguel knew. Because the others hadn't
been pulled in until he got his powers.
But I don't think Miguel knew. That's what I'm saying. Like, he was like messing with the Spider-Verse, and he jumped to another universe, and he was like, okay, I can just take over. And then when everything collapsed, then he was like, oh wait, I can't just do that. So he went back to his universe, started researching more stuff, and then branched out. And most likely he knew about Miles afterwards, but that's why he never put him in contact or anything, because he's like, he's an abomination, because he basically, his Spider-Man was a net -1 Spider-Man, because he killed the Spider-Man in his universe, and the Spider-Man in the other universe that was supposed to get bitten didn't exist.
Yeah,
so
but
instead of them being 2 extra ones, there's only 1.
Yeah. No, yeah, but I thought all of Miguel's stuff happened after the events of Spider-Man. Oh, the first Spider-Man.
No.
Of Into the Spider-Verse.
I'm pretty sure it was simultaneous, because by the end of the movie, the first one, Miguel's already like there with his super suit and all that stuff, So presumably when he was first jumping into that other universe and then collapsed it and then made the society, I mean, that was a much longer time period than just like the week or so of that first movie,
I don't know. Well, no, because there's a whole years difference between the first movie and the second movie, and we don't know when that end credit scene takes place.
Well, it shows him looking at Miles in that like current status or whatever, doesn't he? I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember him looking at Miles at the end credit scene.
What was he doing?
I think he was just talking. I think it was just like a cameo. He might have gone to. Oh, it might have been. No, that meme came after, huh? The one where they're like, "Oh, it's Spider-Man! It's Spider-Man!" Spider-Man pointing at each other. That might have happened after.
Into Spider-Man. So the post-credit scene. Meanwhile, in Nueva York, yeah. So he already has his whole base up and running, and then he jumps into another universe. Let me see. And then he does that pointing meme, yeah. But it looks like he does see him, yeah. He monitors like the end part of that of the first movie. Yeah, so he sees the collider, and she's even doing the recap. Look, she's doing the recap of the fight and the recap of him. So he was actively watching Miles. Because again, he's monitoring disruptions in the multiverse, presumably after learning of the destruction. So yeah, see, and then he works Peter B. Parker, all that other stuff. So he did see that beforehand.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I was wrong.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why he's so like resentful of him, because he's like, why does he get to do it when my universe collapsed? But again, he's bitter because his family died twice, basically.
Yeah.
And I mean, he also killed an entire universe, entire timeline. So trillions of people are on his conscience.
Almost two.
And then
because
that's
if he
why,
fails as Spider-Man.
And that's why he's like, oh, I'm going to kill your dad, or I'm going to let your dad die because we have to save the whole universe, because he's already made that mistake once and all this stuff. So
yeah.
I don't know how they're going to solve it, because turning the Spot from stealing the ATM to the fucking multiversal
nothingness, yeah, to the immortal, basically.
Lovecraftian horror. With
yeah,
like, you took everything from me, and then he goes to another universe, and it's like, okay, now we're not gonna know. But also, I saw a reaction thread of they're filming the movie and stuff. They're pirating it, live action pirating.
Yeah,
and when the Prowler's mask comes off, everyone goes But it's like, was that not fucking obvious?
Yeah, like it was obvious.
Dude, like they just served it up on a silver platter. Like I get if someone's like, oh, cool. But like the whole theater was like shocked.
Yeah,
they were
like surprised that it was
like, what?
Miles.
Like
That's weird.
Dude, they just fucking they literally spoon fed you the fact, and I know they're like building up to the whole reveal, like who are you? But it's like, come on, dude, you know who he is. If you're not a fucking idiot and you've been paying attention to the movie, you understand that it's like they literally mention the fact that there's no Spider-Man in this universe, all this stuff, you know. But
also, like the entire like 30 seconds before that or minute before that, it's like suspenseful. Like something is wrong.
mm-hmm.
Like something's out of place. Like the whole atmosphere of the film at that point, like directly leads that. And when they reveal that it's the father, like that it's the dad that died, that it's his dad that died. I mean, who else is going to be the Prowler?
Exactly.
I mean,
because if like even when the uncle was like, "Oh, I'm not the Prowler" or whatever, you know,
yeah,
it's like, come on, like they told you like 3 times already, dude. Come on,
in
like,
3 different ways,
yeah.
like.
And I know the Prowler like put on the gloves and stuff to like the red herring of like, oh, he's actually the Prowler still.
I didn't even notice that. I'm not gonna lie, that was so subtle. I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that at all.
But then they switch it up, and then the actual Prowler comes out. But yeah, it's like it's dumb. I don't know. It I don't understand that people's reaction to that scene.
Oh, like to being shocked?
Yeah, that's I don't understand that. 'Cause it's like, come on, dude. They fucking spoon fed it to you. They told you what it was gonna be, and then people were still like, oh no. I'm telling you, if they were like, oh cool or something, but they were like, like, come on, dude. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I'm not as surprised that there's that many people who were like shocked by that scene, simply because I know some people that were so lost in the film at that point, that it wasn't a surprise. They didn't understand why he was there.
Oh,
they were so lost. They were like at a more basic level. Like
that's a different issue though, because it's not like it's an overtly complex. It's piecing together all these things. No, it's a pretty linear story, you know. It's not fucking Pulp Fiction over here.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I don't know. Some people just need like multiple viewings to like understand the stuff. That's why I'm not as surprised. But I mean, it's still kind of like, come on,
dude,
come on.
You knew what it was. You can understand this. I don't want to say it's a kids movie either, because adult themes, all this stuff. But it's like, come on.
I mean, it is a kids film. Let's be fair here. We love the movie. It's like a amazingly well produced film with like,
I mean,
incredible set pieces and like with painstaking amount of work written into the.
Despicable Me is a kids film. If anything, this is like a young adult film. I'll say that, right? Because Despicable Me, that's a kids film. That is a child's film. But that's
a baby's film. That's not just a kids film. That's a baby's film.
Because babies probably like don't understand.
3rd grader. That's like the people I teach. That's not.
Yeah. 3rd graders are still kids, though. They're not babies. Yeah, well, babies. They're kids. They're still kids, children, kids, right? Yeah. Because teens would be 13 and up, etc. But that's what I'm saying. It's a young adult movie, so I would say kids that are.
I would say teens are like 14 and up. I think 13-year-olds are still kind of like kids.
I mean.
I don't think
when you're 30 years old, 15-year-olds are still kids, they're still children.
Yeah, that's true.
But again, there's teens.
That's true. And we are almost 30, so
they're teens for a reason.
Yeah, they're yeah, okay, yeah.
So
understandable.
Have a nice day. That's broke to the front. And then
yeah. Anyways, yeah, but it's still like a children's film. It's not exactly, I don't know. Whatever. It's not exactly Oppenheimer, like.
Okay, there we go. The movie where they were like, we're going to have full frontal nudity, and Cillian Murphy, who's playing Oppenheimer, is going to hang dong in this movie, and you're going to be able to see him be like, it's Oppenheimer time, and when he arrives or whatever, it's... Yeah, Christopher Nolan, apparently, there was no CGI used for the explosions.
They just gave him nuclear codes.
Honestly. No, he used... I forgot what it was. He used some technique on TNT explosions to simulate it, basically.
Oh no, I literally just thought they gave him nuclear codes.
Honestly,
it's fine.
Christopher Nolan got so realistic. He actually got a war involved between Germany, Japan, and the U.S.
Yes. So, yeah.
Unfortunately,
he enacted World War III and somehow managed to keep Russia out of it.
And if Anime 2.0 is what arrives out of this. I'm sorry, people. You're going to have to deal with it. That's what happens.
I couldn't tell where you were taking. I couldn't tell if you were going to go with we're all the better for it, or we're all the worse for it.
It's the end of times.
It's the end of times.
If Anime 2 comes out,
it's the fourth horseman.
it's the fifth horseman. There's already 4 horses. Edward's like, dude, my mind's going a mile an hour.
A mile an hour.
Yeah, that's what Michael Scott says, because the joke is like, oh, it's going a mile a minute, right? Because you're thinking so fast. It's like, oh my god, my brain's racing a mile an hour. And someone goes that fast.
I always thought the saying was, my mind's going a million miles an hour.
That too, but the like,
or
the other
no, I
ones-
guess minute too. I think I've heard a minute too.
A mile a minute.
Million
and you're
miles
like,
a minute.
zoom.
Yeah.
A million miles an hour or whatever. But yeah, a mile an hour. That fast, huh?
Bro, raspada sounds good.
Let's
I
go
just heard
get-
them. I fucking heard
Dude,
them.
when you live in a Mexican neighborhood and you hear that, and you're like, oh, is that corn? Raspado?
Dude,
Crisps or all of the above? And then
crisps.
the little...
Fuck, are we British?
No. The crispy...
Churros.
No, not churros.
They're churros.
They're not churros.
They're churro
Like
wheels.
chips. Oh my god. Okay. If they're called churro wheels...
I've called them churro wheels my whole life. My whole ass
Churro
life.
wheels. Let's see. So they're wheat pinwheels, Mexican Doritos. That's it. Mexican wheat pinwheels.
But it does come out. Churro wheels. It does come out. When you Google churro wheels, you get the Mexican wheel chips.
Yeah, but
Chicharrones de harina. De harina. Fucking...
el comal chicharrón.
Pero, ¿qué no le
Es
llamamos
chicharrón.
churros? ¿Los churritos, ama?
Chicharrón de harina. Yeah.
She's laughing at it because, yeah, we always call it churros.
That's what they're called? Chicharrón de harina?
Chicharrones de harina. Yeah, that's technically what they're
It's
called. but we
chicharrón. That's what
And
it
look,
is.
one of the businesses that sell them calls them churros on wheels.
Where no, churros on wheels is an
something
actual
else.
churros.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. It's because Google is just that good. It heard you talking about them. Doritos,
She's complaining about the
Doritos.
flies.
honestly. But okay, yeah, Doritos. They're just Doritos, and it is chicharrón though, because that's
Yeah.
it's made of the same
Churritos. No, look, Wikipedia.
Ooh.
Duritos de harina, also known as pasta de duros, duritos, duros, pasta para durito, chicharrones, churritos, Mexican wagon wheels, or pinwheels are popular. They are called churritos. And, I guess I just shortened it to churros, but they are called churritos. Yeah.
Churritos. Okay.
I ain't stupid here.
All right.
I'm not living what's that one shit called? That fake shit. The one that's always referenced to the Bernstein Bears of the African president.
The Mandela effect.
Yes, the Mandela effect. Yes, I'm not.
You switched universes and you arrived in a universe where they're not called that, Edward.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
Sorry, that's you are finished. Do you understand? You're finished. You're done.
Acabado.
Acabado.
No,
Well,
yeah. You see,
now we
I'm
know.
not experiencing the Mandela effect. I know what they're called.
Now we know. See, now I forgot where we were.
I don't
because we were-
fucking know, dude. Half of this podcast is just ad-libbing, like whatever shit comes out of our ass.
Yeah, we were supposed to have Walter here and Michael here, and
Yeah.
we moved off the mics and everything. We had everything ready. They were like
I got
1,300
my
hours.
dick hard
soldier.
for nothing. Like,
Honestly, dude, what is the point of using my Cialis, my one
Exactly.
Cialis a month for this thing? You're telling
I'm not
me
gonna lie. I don't know what the fuck Cialis is. All
It's
I
the
know is that I
same
have my
thing.
nails painted and they already chipped.
it's the same thing as Viagra. It's a blood pressure medicine that was co-opted by right-wingers because they have flaccid PPs.
That makes sense. Okay, yeah.
It's not actually co-opted. I'm just saying shit. But yeah, no. It was originally a heart medication drug, so it helps lower your blood pressure. But the side effect in being able to lower your blood pressure is it's easier to do that because it's not that it actually arouses you. It's just easier for you to hold an erection
For
not
longer.
not longer than 4 hours. Go to a doctor, because of the low blood.
I always
pressure.
wonder why the fuck is 4 hours the dangerous port? Like, why not 3
Because
or
your
why not
blood
5?
vessels. I don't think it's like a hard threshold. I'm pretty sure if it's like longer than 2 or 3 hours, you should go to the doctor. But
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, if I have a hard
Why
on, like consistently,
is
like not just
4
up and down, but like
hours
consistently for 4 hours. That's or like 3 hours. That sounds a bit weird. It sounds like some
So-
intervention is needed.
onset and duration of action of sildenafil for the treatment of erectile dysfunction. So it. Oh, okay. If you keep losing, so it can make keeping erections easier for 4 to 6 hours, but the erection itself cannot be. It's called a Ischemic priapism can cause serious complications. The blood trapped is deprived of oxygen when it lasts too long, more than 4 hours. The lack of oxygen can begin to damage or destroy tissues. So you don't want damaged tissues.
It starts ripping it from the inside out. Got it.
Yeah, not ripping, but it's like it's choking it because there's no oxygen.
Yeah.
So when they say choke your chicken, not for longer than 4 hours.
Yes.
That's basically
don't end up like that one guy. Did your school have that same rumor? In my school, there was always a persistent rumor in high school that like some like kid, not necessarily at our school, but just some kid in general, ended up choking his chicken for like, I don't know, it was some absurd number. I don't remember the number now. It's been fucking decades since then. But like some absurd number, and he basically died of dehydration from coming too much.
I don't know.
There was that persistent rumor. Yeah.
But I know the rumor of like Marilyn Manson removed his own ribs. And I'm like, how the fuck did people pass that one around?
Yeah.
And then like that
to suck his own dick. Yeah.
That S that everyone draws, but it's like, where the fuck did it come from? It's
dude,
a skating
no.
brand.
That one, there's an amazing video on it by Let Me Know. And he's like the foremost, like he's done the most research into it, like cobbling together every research that everyone else has done, putting it into one video and then doing some of his own. Like he traced it back.
Okay, so where? All right, go.
He traced it back to like German, like or like Arabian something, like pre-BC shit, like with patterns, saying that like, oh, some spiral patterns could have influenced this design, leading it to be in like the German blah blah blah, and that's the German one is like the first like one where it like actually looks like the S as like a shorthand to writing it, basically. Like fancy S's or whatever the fuck in some like random school in the middle of nowhere, and he couldn't trace it back any farther than that, and that's why he started speculating as to like, oh, maybe these like Arabian spiral patterns that are like in the corner of these pages inspired it. Like it's insane. Like he has like a fucking like 3 hours or some shit. I don't know. Let me see if I can
let me
look it
know,
up.
right?
Yeah, let me know.
The instance was found in an 1890 geometry textbook.
Yes.
They're referencing his thing. So 14 line segments and stylized S shape. The cool S has no reflection symmetry. 1973, famous photographs of graffiti in New York had that symbol. Superman S, nah. But it can't be drawn continuously, but it does have perpetual flow. Huh. Yeah, so it's just the S. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
The oldest.
It's just been around forever, and it consistently every generation somehow forgets about it when they like become like the teachers in charge or whatever, and they're like, oh, it's a gang symbol. Oh, it's a gang symbol. Like every generation has heard it. Like I know my generation obviously, but the generation before mine too.
So the S.
Yeah. Every generation that becomes an adult is like, oh yeah, that's a gang symbol. It's like, no, it's not. It's just everywhere. Mm-hmm. I think like the rumor originated with a lot of graffiti art. Basically, there were like a lot of graffiti artists that would essentially use it. In particular, this one. This is all from that Let Me Know video. In particular, this one person that was like really into Stizzy, like that clothing brand or whatever the fuck, and so like he was doing it as a shorthand for like the S in Stizzy basically, and he was like tagging that everywhere as part of like artworks and stuff. And so I guess that's graffiti gangs. A lot of adults don't really know the difference, and I guess that rumor just perpetuates continuously over and over again. But it doesn't have any real affiliation with any gangs or anything, and it only had a tangential affiliation through that one street artist with that clothing brand. So it's not really related to that, even though I guess that did bring it back into prominence because how are you going to take something from a German textbook in like 19 and then like have it become popular? You know? But
it's because it's Hitler or whatever. But it's like, no, this was the 1890s before Hitler. Hitler. I'm a Hitler.
It was
hipster.
pre-Hitler.
Yeah, this is a pre-Hitler hipster right here. 1890s. Actually. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's the S that's been around forever. It's a part of our DNA. We're gonna in like 2059. We're gonna encounter it in a cave painting where some
pretty much, dude. I would not be surprised. Like, and I don't know, because I always thought it was like a skater thing. That's why.
Yeah.
Because it seems like a skating symbol, like, oh, S board. I don't know, whatever. Because they have like all those.
No, I did too. I wrote it. I tagged it onto my my fucking skateboard.
S board. Short for skateboard.
Exactly.
Same amount of syllables, but still.
Exactly. Yeah, I remember like consistently with Sharpies, I would like tag the S on it on the front end and back end.
That's funny.
And then like when I got a new one, I would like tag it right in the center, like just giant S to cover up the artwork because I didn't like it. But yeah, and then I would see skaters at it like, I don't know, I feel this is personally dumb, but you know the grip tape that goes on top of the skateboard?
Yeah.
People would take a knife and tag it or like carve it into the grip tape, into like the wood right there. And I would always think that's so dumb. You're ruining your grip tape, at least in my opinion. I don't know if they actually are ruining the grip tape or not, but I can't imagine taking a knife to a plain piece of grip tape is gonna help integrity. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Like,
You violated the structural integrity of your grip tape.
Yeah, exactly.
You are going to be sentenced to prison.
To death. No.
Believe it or not, jail. Violate the integrity of your skateboard.
Jail.
Put too much grip tape on your skateboard.
Also jail.
Crack your skateboard in half out of anger.
Believe it or not, also jail. All jail. Everything jail.
Honestly, pretty much. You have to skate at exactly like 2 miles per hour. Yeah. You got to be just right. Got to have your elbow pads and your knee pads. Oh. Wait, Edward, touch your knee. Almost.
I will already touch my knee.
I know. It's so funny to get little kids like that and be like, touch your elbow, and they'll be like, and you'll be like, that's your knee. Fuck you, and then you start
piece of shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do
dumb
that.
Little fucking idiot.
I'm gonna do that on Monday because I have my class. My class is nothing but 3rd and 4th graders.
Oh my god. Okay, so just do Simon Says. You should. That's perfect because you'll go. Simon Says, touch your head, right?
Yeah.
Simon Says, touch your knees. All right. Simon Says, touch your elbow, and then you touch your shoulders, and you're like, you're all out of here.
You're all.
And then you just light up the flamethrower.
Bitch.
Honestly. But that's perfect because you said Simon Says, and you said Simon Says touch your knee, but then they touch your shoulder because they're stupid little kids. You've outsmarted children, Edward.
Perfect.
Hell yeah.
You're going places in life.
Exactly. Man, I feel like I could be governor of Florida, dude.
Honestly, you'd probably have a less intelligence requirement.
I'm going to be a right-wing grifter. I'm going to go to universities and start outsmarting kids that are just getting there, you know?
And that don't have media training.
Exactly. And also, most of the time they don't have like cohesive arguments and stuff because again,
they're
like,
just finding out about it. Like if you came to me when I was like 17, I feel like a lot of my opinions would be progressive, but I also don't think I would
say them as cohesively.
Yeah, I would just be like, oh yeah, it's a general vibe, you know?
Yeah, like just don't be a dick, dude.
Yeah,
like Jesus
just
Christ,
stop being a piece of shit.
Jesus Christ once said, just don't be a dick, dude.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
literally the thing.
Exactly,
it's canon in the Bible.
It's canon event.
But yeah, like whenever you see like, oh, Ben Shapiro destroys college freshmen, it's like that's the same thing as me going, I destroyed 8-year-olds at basketball. Woo! Like.
Yeah,
no
yeah,
shit. Like if I lose to an 8-year-old in basketball, I should be taken to the back and shot in the head, you know? Honestly. But yeah, like that.
Like, yeah,
what is the point of
like,
I beat children in an argument? Get owned, liberal.
It's like playing football against, like rugby against 8-year-olds. Just start smacking them fucking everywhere. Like,
and you know how many interviews they probably had, and how many people probably raise good points that they don't show. Like obviously they're not going to show those other points.
That's the second part. If there happens to be like an actually like intelligent and thought out like 18-year-old, they're never going to show it. They have the ability to edit. It's the power of editing.
Exactly. If I start to lose, I have no problem going on my phone. Like that's literally the vibes.
Like have you seen the Matt Walsh documentary that came out?
What is a woman?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Like I have, and literally you can.
Shit.
The editing is so bad in it. You can tell when he was like starting to lose the plot. Like you can tell when he was about to lose the argument or like not be able to. And like because it just cuts. Like there's no like there's no transition. Resolution. There's nothing. Yeah. It just cuts. It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
I'm telling you, dude, it would be so easy to be just a right-wing grifter. You sell some bullshit supplements. You can't call them vitamins because they're not approved by the FDA. Yeah. Like you can literally just go, doctors recommended this, and then it's like, it's me, Dr. Smith, and I am definitely a doctor. And at the bottom it says not an actual doctor, just a representation of the doctor that signed this. But the doctor that signed it, he's like a doctor in fucking English literature or some shit.
Yeah. Or he's a doctor in World War II.
Exactly. Like this man is 90 years old. He was a doctor in World War II. Not World War II studies. In World War II.
In World War II.
And the old guy doesn't even understand what he's signing. He's like, what am I signing?
He's got like Alzheimer's already.
And Joe Rogan's like, don't worry about it. You just sign up. You get your roid gut, and that's my 6-pack right there. You know. Like,
yeah. No. It's so easy and it's so profitable. That's why fucking Anna Contrarian, whatever her name is,
Kasparian?
Yeah, she became a right wing grifter now. she had her whole "I left the left" moment, and like the whole TYT went with her basically.
Red pill moment. That's fucking hilarious.
Like
TYT.
she is straight out like horrible, and I still remember watching some of her stuff. I feel like at one point like Hassan Hanabi was on TYT with her, and like that was good, and Hassan is still great. But
the
like
Young Turks.
Yeah, the Young Turks. Although to be fair, I guess many people have brought it up. Like, what do you expect from a news organization that named their organization after like a genocide, basically? But they were pretty good for a long time. I think they were pretty good for a while. At least when I was in college. And then just all of a sudden, I feel like there was that one incident with that one piece of shit, Dave Rubin, I think his name is, where he was just like a complete Nazi basically, and like left and whatever. But now the whole TYT is basically going down the same path he did, and mostly, in my opinion, led by Anna. She went from like she got called wrong once, essentially. Essentially, what happened? She got called wrong once, and then went down the contradictory pipeline. Where like, no, I'm correct. You're wrong. I'm correct. Blah blah blah. And then now she's just alt-right, basically.
Yeah, it was the trans that did it.
Yeah, it's always...
A year ago, she was debating, Ben Shapiro, and a year ago, she was going, the Bible has no say in what women can do with their bodies, right? You know? And it's like, okay, I understand that. And now it's like, I am not a birthing person. I'm a woman. Like, I kind of understand that piece, at least, because I know they're trying to be like, oh, you know, people of birth are like... people with
it's
ovaries.
a clunky word. Everyone agrees it's a clunky word.
But also don't assign something to someone else, because that's exactly the right ring people do to them.
Yeah,
you know? Where they go, oh, you'll never be a woman, or oh, you're never going to be a man. It's like, just have terms. Don't call other people terms you don't want them to. Yeah. And just don't be a dick.
Again. Just don't be a dick. Again, we're gone full circle. Just don't be a dick. Just don't be a dick.
Like straight
like up. The only issue with using birthing person is that like legally speaking, there has to be a way that encapsulates everyone who does give birth, because some men give birth. And how are you going to include them in that definition? Like, it's a clunky term, and we need a better one. That's basically the extent of the criticism.
Why do you need to identify them?
Because certain protections, like certain laws that would have to apply to them for protection, require you to identify them.
Really?
Yes.
I feel like that's just the government wanting to know, like, oh, a birthing person, but it says male. Aha, we found the trans person. We're making our little trans database, you know, like in Florida.
That does feel kind of like that, to be honest. But there's legitimate reasons why. I can't think of them off the top of my head, if I'm gonna be honest. But I do.
Well, if you can't, that means you're wrong, Edward.
That's
Welcome
true.
to the right wing grift. We've
buy our supplements right now. Support the Supreme Court. Right?
Exactly. Supreme Court 6-3 decisions every single time when it's
all the
clear
time.
violations of human rights.
Dude, no. Right now, the latest Supreme Court decisions, the anti-affirmative action and the this other one, the business can discriminate against gay people one.
So okay, let's start one by one, right?
Okay.
Affirmative action, right? I understand the reasoning behind it, but there should be a different type of identifier, such as income level.
Yes.
Because income level is the number one deciding factor on whether you get a good education, your zip code, all this kind of stuff, right? Because there was someone saying like, oh, you can do you can do a genetic test on your baby and find out what kind of school he's going to go to. And it's like, you can do that with a zip code.
Yes.
Because the zip code itself, the way it's like property taxes that fund your schools, which is really a messed up system. So poor schools stay poor. All this stuff, right? All this
and the
stuff
zip code would be more accurate too.
Exactly.
Like when you actually run the numbers, the most predominant thing that like the most accurately represents how you're going to do in life is your zip code, where you grew up. That is the most accurate method of identifying how you're going to turn out in life. It's not completely accurate, of course. Obviously, but it is the most prominent.
Yeah, there's definite factors to it, but that is the biggest fact. Well, let's say that's one of the biggest factors. Because sure, you could be a rich person born in a shitty zip code or whatever. Well, I don't know why you would be like that.
Yeah,
to be fair, exactly.
Really
You wouldn't. You probably wouldn't. You probably wouldn't. Although I know there are like pretty big houses, you know, here in HP or in Bell,
like across the street. There's
exactly,
like a couple. But
you know,
like,
but point is, while affirmative action, you know, because they were using affirmative action against Asian people as well, because they would go, oh, we have too many Asians, and then they would use it to discriminate against Asian people. So using the law in the wrong way, right? But if you go based off of, like, again, the
income level,
income levels, and then you go, I'm judging this person because they're telling me their story, because they're poor, blah blah blah. Sure, you can still include the struggles, and Harvard said thanks to that decision, they had a loophole. Let me. I want to read
malicious compliance.
Yes.
I remember. But when speaking of the Asian thing, like it was funny. I was reading this one Reddit post thing. It was basically that the white people are going to be so mad because this is like basically a way to get like, because essentially the thing behind this I think was like a Canadian that that said he didn't get into Harvard and he never proved that he was like on track to like get accepted or that he would qualify for it.
I think it
was completely false.
It was the other one.
The other one?
Yeah, the other one of the someone was discriminating against me. That one.
That's the gay one. No, that's the gay sandwich shop graphic designer. That's different.
But she never had anything. That's the thing.
This dude never had anything either.
Was this one built on a lie?
Yes.
Let me see.
Yes, if I remember correctly, basically it was a Canadian. He never proved that he was like applying to or like do that. He just said like if he did apply, he felt like he would get rejected because of affirmative action. But and so like, basically white boys seething and coping. I think it was that one. And how do you call it? And the thing is that the only reason why there's so many white people currently in like Harvard and stuff is because of affirmative action. Because if not, you'd have a higher percentage of Asian Americans, of Asian immigrants, Asian Americans, because the U.S. government specifically selects for the smarter people to get immigrated here into the U.S. So you'd see a higher proportion of Asian immigrants getting accepted into like the big schools and stuff.
Let me see.
So I don't know. I felt that was pretty funny. If that does work out that way, that'd be pretty hilarious. Not gonna lie.
Okay, so it violates blah blah the civil rights clause.
I mean, it'd be shit still because like like it's a lot harder for wealthier it's a lot harder for non-wealthy people to get accepted.
Said Harvard's admission program violates Title IV of the Civil Rights Act. Blah blah blah. Yeah. So. So it was the result of the Students for Fair Admissions against Harvard University on the basis that Asians were being discriminated against in favor of white applicants in the undergraduate admissions process. So in 2013, they filed against them, saying it. 2019, District Court upheld Harvard's limited use of race as a factor in admissions, and they provided no evidence that Asian Americans or any other racial groups had been harmed by it. In 2020, it was affirmed. They petitioned the Supreme Court, and then... let me see. So, and then they finally issued the decision of 6-2, reversing it. Yeah, the court did not decide whether race-based affirmative action can continue as military academies. So, let me see. I want to see why they said it, because they said a number of other Asian American groups have submitted amicus briefs in support of race-conscious admission policies and Harvard. The majority opinion, Justice Roberts, wrote that the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment applies without regard to any difference of race, of color, or of nationality, and thus must apply to every person. As such, eliminating racial discrimination means eliminating all of it, adding that for the guarantee of equal protection cannot mean one thing when applied to one individual and something else when applied to a person of another color. The affirmative action programs lack sufficiently focused and measurable objectives warranting the use of race, unavoidably employ race in a negative manner, involve racial stereotypes, and lack meaningful endpoints. We've never permitted admissions programs to work in that way, and we will not do so today. So I guess, remember, I said that I understand it, but it should be...
I disagree with what he said harshly.
Why?
Because that was never proven. That was never proven that it negatively impacts other people. Like it's built off of a theory that doesn't exist in real life. And when you're talking about retracting bias over, like basically if you have a bias for something, you have to implement. You can't just stop the bias and then everything's fine. You have to implement bias in the opposite direction.
Ignoring race will not equalize a society that is racially unequal.
Yeah.
What was true in the 1860s, again in 1854, is true today. Equality requires acknowledgement of inequality. If you never acknowledge, like she's basically saying, that was Sotomayor and Justice Kagan, they're like, if you don't acknowledge the fact that there are inequalities, you're never going to get to the root cause. Like you said, it's like, just treat them all the same. And it's like, well, they're not all the same.
Yeah,
that's
you
the whole
specifically
point.
Kneecapped someone. You have to, give them a prosthetic leg in order to be able to run. You can't just expect them to run one-legged all the way to the finish line after you've specifically kneecapped them. But but basically these last two Supreme Court decisions, because that's why I was bundling them together, are essentially based off of a fiction, off of not real, meaning that technically speaking, to my understanding, and again I'm not a lawyer yet,
But after watching Better Call Saul 3 times,
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
pretty close.
Better Call Saul, legal. You know, same thing.
Exactly.
How do you call it? These cases have no standing, and the Supreme Court, technically speaking, like, it's conflicting things, right? Like these things have no standing, so technically it should have never come before the Supreme Court. Like they should have never reached that far. But also, the Supreme Court has essentially the power to choose whatever they want to rule on. So they could like scour the entirety of the U.S., find whatever claim they want to support, and then choose that, and then support it, or like rule on it. They have essentially full discretion. It's literally
Unlimited power.
I think it was Vosh who was like basically they're like the high priests of the United States. They're essentially they're unelected. You can't really remove them from office because it would require like a supermajority in the Senate or something. So they're essentially you can't depose them. There's no way to remove them from power.
I mean,
they have no
hypothetically-
consequences for their actions.
Hypothetically, if someone was to drone strike them, I mean, again,
That's true,
I'm
that's
not
true.
advocating for this. I'm simply thinking out loud. If someone were to drone strike them in Minecraft, they would lose their Minecraft home along with their Minecraft selves, and then someone else would have to take over that avatar, if you know what I mean.
Their
Again, I'm not
codes,
advocating for violence.
their
address-
their addresses are public information. You can't, well, not public, but they
hypothetically
are
speaking-
out there.
No, they're
Hypothetically
public
speaking.
record.
They
They're
are public record. Yeah.
Hypothetically
So,
speaking, if you searched up
hypothetically.
like the Justice John Roberts and you found out where he grew up or where his current house is, and hypothetically someone were to mail anthrax to him, again, this is
just
all hypothetical.
hypothetical.
This is not.
This is not
I'm
endorsement.
not
we do not advocate
endorsing-
for this.
I'm not advocating for
But just
anything.
hypothetically,
I'm thinking out loud.
that is one way, returning back to tradition. I know we love traditionalists here in the
Return
chat.
to monkey.
Return to
bash
monkey.
brain with
with rock.
with
heavy
big rock.
Deploy rock. Just,
Deploy
All we're
extra heavy
saying-
rock with wings that can deploy smaller rocks that are explosives, right?
we love tradition in this house. Just mail a bunch of C4 in Minecraft.
Exactly. You know, the Unabomber maybe had something right.
Maybe, huh?
Maybe.
Maybe he was just targeting the wrong people,
Exactly.
maybe
If
that was
he
his
had
issue.
just targeted the right wing people, then again, hypothetically,
Hypothetically,
we wouldn't be. In
it would be a
this mess in the first place.
tragic loss of life, but
Thinking out loud here.
just thinking out loud, it's a possibility. It's
For legal reasons, all of that is a joke.
yeah, no,
But again,
yeah. They're all based on
it doesn't-
fiction.
Yeah,
Like
you can
none
just
of it has
choose-
any standing.
You can just pick and choose.
Yeah.
So that's what happened with the other one, where she was like, I'm making a thing for someone and they discriminate against me. It was like, no, there was never a person there. It's all based on a lie.
It's not just that. The website that she's claiming where she did
It's
services
bullshit.
was made 2 days before the filing.
Yep.
2 days.
Yep.
Bro, I put more days into my shitty like lamp website than I put more work into that than she put in. No.
What was the other
Speaking
decision?
now,
It was-
buy lamps at lanternlights.com.shopify or however.
What was the other? I'm already blanking on.
Discrimination against gay people. And it's weird because you know why? Technically speaking, businesses already had the right to do that. They're essentially reaffirming a right that most people already had.
The constitutional right to refuse service to members of a protected class. It's a dangerous decision that can stretch well beyond same-sex couples, as it opens the door to further assault on basic anti-discrimination laws on the basis of race, gender, or religion. If you're a private business, sure, technically you can already refuse service to anyone, right?
Yes.
Private
You
business.
just can't say it's based on one of the protected classes.
Yeah, and then they ruled that a Colorado website design business can deny services to a same-sex couple planning a wedding based on personal beliefs.
Yes.
It's
They just can't
fucking
say it's
terrible.
based on their they just can't say it's based because they're gay.
Yeah, it's not because they are. It's because I am bigoted.
Yes.
It's like-
I'm bigoted, so I'm not gonna provide service to you.
Exactly.
I'm
So-
a piece of shit, so I'm not gonna provide service to you.
Exactly. So if you say my religion, the Church of Satan, says that I cannot sell stuff to right-wing people.
Yes,
you're now legally allowed
legit.
to do that.
And the thing is that that was always legal. That was always to my understanding, that was always the standard. So it's kind of like I think I did specifically hear this from Bosch. I remember this. If a teacher, if let's say it's it's against the class rules to chew gum, right? And a really shitty teacher you're not chewing gum, you're just sitting there. She slams the ruler on the desk and goes like, "Hey, you're not supposed to be chewing gum. And
Mhm.
it's like, I'm not chewing gum. Yeah, but what if someone told me you were? It's like,
exactly. It was like what if someone told me you were? That's
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
hypothetical,
it's like-
so fuck off.
it's like, okay.
Yeah.
They're literally just doing it as like a way to threaten people. It's like, hey, don't get too comfortable. We're going to come after your rights next.
The mysterious case of the fake gay marriage website, The Real Straight Man, and the Supreme Court. In filings of the 303 Creative versus Elena's case is a supposed request for a gay wedding website, but the man named in the request says he never filed it. Long before the Supreme Court took up one of the last remaining cases it will decide this session, the Creative versus Elena's case, concerning a Colorado web designer named Lori Smith who refuses to make websites for same-sex weddings and seeks an exemption from anti-discrimination laws. There was a couple named Stuart and Mike, right? She's alleging that. According to the court filings from the plaintiff, Stuart contacted Smith in September 2016 about his wedding to Mike early next year. He wrote that they would love some design work done for our invites, place names, etc. We might also stretch to a website. Stuart included his phone number, email address, and the URL of his own website. He was designer too, the site showed. The Supreme Court is expected to deliver its opinion in a case in which Stewart plays a minor role, a case that could be, as Justice Sonia Sotomayor stated by way of a question at oral argument in December, the first time in the court's history a commercial business open to the public, serving the public that it could refuse to serve a customer based on race, sex, religion, or sexual orientation. It took just a few minutes to reach him. So he said this was the first time I've heard of it. Yes, it was his name, phone number, email address, and website on the inquiry form, but he never sent this form, he said. And at the time it was sent, he was married to a woman. If somebody's pulling my information as some kind of supporting information or documentation, somebody's falsified that. Stewart's last name is not included in the filing, so we were referring to him by his first name throughout this story. I wouldn't want anybody to make me a wedding website, he continued, sounding a bit puzzled. I'm married. I have a child. I'm not really sure where that came from, but somebody's using false information in a Supreme Court filing document. So just based on that, it should have already been dismissed or fucking thrown out.
If a court proceeding, if a ruling is based on fraud, I feel like that should be grounds for dismissal, or at least like a redo. Like
somebody fucking disbar whoever sent this up higher, and the next fucking idiot who sent up even higher.
Like legitimate, like this shit's like even like the baby's first, like that's unethical as a lawyer. Like you lose your license to.
Yeah,
you're committing fraud. You're committing a crime.
That is like fraud. Like fraud made it to the highest court just so that the fucking idiot conservatives can go, aha, fuck gay people.
Yeah. Like,
dude,
that lawyer has to be disbarred. That's
like they're coming for Roe v. Wade.
People get
they're
disbarred for less, for much less.
Wait, didn't they already come for a Roe v. Wade? I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah, they already deleted that. That was the first controversial thing that they deleted. They essentially just put Control Z on basically everything, and that's the thing that was leading to everyone worrying about losing civil rights, because the precedent that was used to approve Roe v. Wade to rule on that was the same thing used on to rule on civil rights. It was the same thing that the anti-discrimination stuff is built on.
Let me see. Texas statutes making it a crime to procure an abortion.
Oh no, not just discrimination. Segregation. Segregation is the same thing that ended segregation. It's based on the same thing. So basically, if you attack one of them, you attack all of them.
So the landmark decision, the court held the Constitution of the United States does not confer a right to abortion. I love how everyone's like, that piece of paper they wrote fucking 300 years ago.
Yeah.
But that's the whole point of amendments.
Like that,
right?
a bunch of slave owners wrote. A bunch of slave owners that weren't like really in favor of people voting or democracy or anything like that. They essentially wanted to return, or to have like a basically chilled monarchy, essentially.
The Mississippi law. So the case concerned the constitutionality of a 2018 Mississippi state law that banned most abortion operations after the first 15 weeks of pregnancy. So basically when you just find out you were pregnant. Yeah. The Mississippi law was based on a model by a Christian legal organization with the specific intent to provoke a legal battle leading to the overturning of Roe. So, Citizens United, or what's the other one? The Federalist Society?
Yeah.
Where all the conservative
the literal Illuminati. The real life Illuminati, the Federalist Society.
Actual conservative Illuminati that's been shaping U.S. politics for the last fucking 40 or 50 years.
And it's all Republicans.
And
it's all Republicans.
Like, unless, I don't know, even with the Democratic president right now,
Yeah.
where he's been telling the Republicans to go fuck themselves, very politely, by the way, because he was like, "We're not going to overturn veteran stuff, right?" Everyone's like, "Yeah, okay, I'm hearing it. You guys said we don't want to overturn anything for veterans. We love our veterans," and all the conservatives were like, "Fuck, he got us on television."
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, like I love when Dark Brandon
Brandon
does that
activates.
shit, but like it is still so light-handed, especially compared to like the Republicans doing. Like, have you seen the not the I forget if it was Minnesota, or was it the Tennessee one? I don't know, but one of them has like a Democratic governor, and with like a slim majority, essentially, he was essentially like. Okay, again, this is because this is Better Call Saul levels of chicanery.
Yeah.
They have this thing called a inline veto, which
I
is
remember that.
which is essentially like they can edit out a comma or a letter. They can essentially the
Strike
most
through
egregious
lines
ones.
and stuff like that.
The most egregious one. There was this bill that was essentially providing funding for transportation and utility and stuff like that, and it was providing, I don't know, a certain amount. And essentially, the one of the governors, I think this happened in a different state, but one of the governors essentially deleted enough of the letters and the sentences in there that it changed the bill from funding transportation to funding education, and for a larger amount.
Oh, no. So that one was. Wait, you're talking about the current one, right?
No,
one you
not
just
the
did?
current one.
Oh, sorry.
This is something before. It was essentially a 20-page bill that got cut down into 20 sentences. This is another one, but this is just to give like the broad example.
Yeah.
This one, essentially what the governor did was delete a 20 and a hyphen or
dash.
something, or a
Hyphen.
dash.
Yeah, hyphen.
And it's essentially funding education for like 4 centuries.
400 years, yeah, because they were like, it was originally 2024 through 25.
Yeah,
He deleted the 20 from 2024 and the 20 and then the dash. So it's funding through 24-25.
Yeah.
Get fucked, Republican fucking idiots. You know, like.
It's literally Better Call Saul levels of chicanery in this.
Did we talk about Ben Shapiro and his fucking dumbass take of like, free schools and free meals at schools are so stupid. If you can't be feeding your child at home, you should not have children.
Yeah, we did,
right?
we did.
And how it's like,
he's fucking retard.
You fucking idiot. When he's like, if you can't afford to feed your children, they should be taken away by CPS. So our tax dollars, instead of feeding kids in schools, are going to go to feeding kids in CPS. But on top of that, you've also taken away the kids from the parents. Very smart.
Creating
smart.
more mentally unstable individuals. Yes, that is
Yeah.
what we need.
There's a subreddit called Orphan Crushing Machine, where it's like the meme of that is like, ooh, man pays $1,000 to turn off Orphan Crushing Machine for 30 minutes and saves 12 orphans. But it's like, why is there an orphan crushing machine in the first place, right?
Yeah.
But and it's every time you hear those feel good, like a kid with cancer raised $20,000 by collecting the food stamps of all of his classmates, and they all went out and sold chocolates. And it's like, child labor funds medical bills because state will not foot the bill, or because healthcare is unaffordable.
I still
That's
remember.
what I'm hearing.
I still remember this one. Because it was worded so like
Egregiously.
mildly racist. It was like, I guess inner city third grader. What was it? Inner city third grader fundraises a lemonade stand outside of his school in Compton to provide his teacher sick leave for cancer treatment she was getting. It was some bullshit like that.
And or the ones where you see where it's like, she ran out of sick days, so all of the other teachers got together and donated more as she recovers from cancer. And it's like, so you're telling me that the sick days are basically just fake?
Yeah.
If you can just trade them around, they're just fake?
They're just fake.
The
They're
school
just fake.
can just give them more sick days?
Yeah, they're just fake.
It's like, it's a fucking illusion. Or like, oh, I ran out of sick days. Oh, well, I guess you got to come back and teach while you're recovering from cancer. Like, holy shit.
Like, it's awful. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
I know. And 99% of them, again, is like, why is the system set up like this in the first place? Oh, my girl just told me about one where a woman retired at 90 from some sales job where she'd been working for 74 years and she never had a day off. She never took a day off. As in, she never called in sick and never took a vacation.
That is depressing.
That's the worst fucking thing I've ever heard. She didn't even retire at 65. There was 25 years in between 65 and 90.
Yeah.
So she's now going to retire at 90, spend the next year before she dies, statistically speaking.
Statistically speaking, every year gets more likely.
She could have had 25 years of retirement and everything, but no. She had only to work. Gets one or whatever, you know. But yeah, literally.
Yeah, literally. Literally so worse than it's literally worse than feudalism.
Yeah. Indentured servitude.
And that's the thing. It's literally worse than feudalism.
Mm-hmm. Indentured servitude, you work your debts off, whatever it is, right?
Yeah,
but in this system where it's like
you can't work your debts off.
Capitalism, baby.
It's impossible to work your debts off.
You don't get to choose where you're born. You don't get to choose how much your parents make. You don't get to choose a career if you're in a different zip code. And remember, if you're surrounded by like violence, you're gonna have to stay in that kind of violence or somehow luck your way out.
Yeah, I keep remembering this Reddit text post where it's like capitalism works if you start evereveryone off at the same amount of money, and that's basically communism.
Literally, like you are describing
capitalism only works
communism.
If it's funded by communism.
Yeah. If it's based on communism.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, again, well-regulated capitalism would work because if billionaires were actually taxed, then like a fucking, I don't know what it was, a fucking 5% marginal tax, whatever it is, right? Would literally fund free healthcare, like free schools, free food, all this shit. But it is not because of the way that they're taking advantage of the tax system, which was created for the rich.
I still remember
by the rich for the rich.
This math statistic where it was like, how do you call it? If every billionaire pooled together money to solve homelessness, and not just homelessness, because no, because the statistic
Musk could do it alone.
But this is even worse. It's not just homelessness. It's basically maintaining the entire homeless population. It's their utilities, their food, their bills, their housing, their everything. If they pooled all of their money together to do that, all of that for everyone in the United States, everyone, they would still be billionaires.
Yeah.
For like under the cost of being billionaires, and they would all still essentially be relatively where they currently are in terms of wealth.
It's easier for you to be a millionaire than it is for Musk to be a millionaire.
Yes, it is.
Like, again, a million seconds is like 32 days.
Yeah.
A billion seconds is like 40 years.
Yes. They would also be unimaginably wealthy, wealthier than probably they have ever been in their lives as well. Like, they would still keep generating the billions that they are.
Dude, Zuck made like $868 billion in these last fucking...
And that's despite the failure of Metaverse.
But now he's got Threads.
And
remember, I don't want Zuck to win. I just want Musk to lose.
Exactly.
The fact that Elon Musk was like, when a bunch of people were fired back in November from Twitter, and he was like, oh, yeah, I'm sure someone can use their talents elsewhere, you know?
And then he did.
And then they fucking did. And he's like, competition is fine and all, but not when there's cheating. And it's like, what do you mean cheating, you fucking
That's
man baby?
Competition.
Yeah, fucking make a better product than your competitor.
Yeah,
that's what competition is.
It's because Musk didn't want Twitter.
Yeah.
Musk didn't want Twitter. They called his
cheated.
bluff, and he was like, you know how he got out of that fight, by the way? He asked he basically asked his mom. It's like, hey mom, can you tell them that I don't want to fight? But like without telling them that I don't want to fight. It's like what a high schooler or a middle schooler does when they're like they don't want to go out with their friends, they're like tired or whatever, and they don't want to like come off as like rude to them. They're like, hey mom, can you tell my friends that I don't want to go outside right now?
Well, it says they still have the Las Vegas cage fight.
Oh, do they?
Going.
Look up Musk's mom, basically.
Let me see. So. Oh, don't encourage this match.
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
I see. You've challenged him to a fight, and then May Musk is very much against the idea of her son getting hurt in the ring. So fucking stupid. Oh my god, can you imagine it? Zuckerberg at 39 would destroy... Do you realize?
39?
He would
a 40-year-old absolutely destroying a 60-year-old.
And Zuckerberg, for as much of a piece of shit and greedy guy he is, has a black belt and a stable family.
Yes,
that's the two things that Musk does not. And that's why he's such a sad person inside, because Musk is like, he has a stable family. He's he's now competing against him with Threads. It's the fucking funniest thing ever.
It's not a surprise. It's more of a surprise that Zuckerberg, and it's probably because all the robot memes or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's more surprising that Zuckerberg has a family and has like it's all this well put together,
stable relationship
and everything, because the people that are most susceptible to the right wing pipeline and to conservatism are essentially people that are isolated and lonely. And there's essentially, and the two most isolated and lonely people on earth are hoarders and millionaires and billionaires, like rich people, which are just other versions, like other different type of hoarder.
Yeah.
But essentially, the only ones that are essentially afflicted by, or not only, but like the ones that are most afflicted by
money hoarding
conservatism
definitely a
are
mental
hoarders.
illness.
Yes, it is literally a mental illness.
Because, like, let's say if I won the lottery and won whatever, it's 615 million, right? We've gone over this scenario so many times, right? You would get like 300. Let's say
you would be set for life.
250 million after taxes, right?
Yes.
Hypothetically, you could invest 125 million, give away 100 million, and still have 25 million dollars, or the reverse of where you invest. You could 250 million, right? So you could invest 200 million of that, give away fucking $20 million, and still have $30 million, not even including the 200 million that you already invested.
Mm-hmm.
You got me? Like, it's even those millions of dollars are such an obscene amount of wealth. It makes no sense. Like, the first thing I'm always thinking of is like, I'm gonna give it away, because that whole there was a Reddit thread where people were like, if you one day won the lottery and got like fuck you money, what's the first thing you would do, you know? And the first thing, of course, is like lawyer up all this stuff, make a trust, and so people can't come after you or your money,
the whole 9 yards,
right? But after getting your affairs in order, you would then, most people go, I would start giving away money, because most people don't think like, I got to keep it and I'm going to invest and I'm going to buy a property and I'm going to get more money. Like, what are you going to need all of those billions of dollars for?
If
like,
you already have fuck you money, like there's just not much else that you can do.
Yeah, you can say fuck you to people, but there's also a point where you're going fuck you to the wrong people.
Yeah.
And then you fire people from Twitter. They get hired by your competitors. They make threads. You get ultra fucked.
Yeah, you get super fucked.
Yeah.
Like at some point it comes back around.
Yeah.
And it has for Elon Musk. It really has. It really has. The only issue that I have with Threads is that it's banned in the EU.
Is it?
Yes.
Because of the data privacy
Because
laws?
of data privacy. It can't even meet like a basic minimum of data privacy laws.
Is TikTok banned in the EU too? I think it is, right?
Oh, dude, no. I guess it's not really funny in the haha sense, but the funniest thing that happened was right after Zuckerberg launched Threads, Elon basically started calling him a pedophile.
Oh,
like
what goes wrong anytime someone outsmarts you?
Call him a pedophile.
Call him a pedophile. Dude.
It's always projection with these people. It's
straight
always
up
projection.
And the fact that he was also impersonating a younger version of like himself or whatever. Remember?
Yeah.
They found out his alt account and it was like, oh, I'm a 16-year-old boy or something. Like,
he has several alt accounts.
Fucking weird.
Dude, he's a weirdo.
Point is, eat the rich.
Yes.
Broke till Friday.
We're broke till Friday. Goodbye, my friends. We'll see you next week. Now I'ma go and beat my meat. And we're broke till Friday. Bye, my friends. We'll see you next week. And now I'ma go and beat my meat. And we're broke till Friday.